1. Question 1 says 18.96 multiplied by 2.03 correct to two significant figures is equal to what? All right, so again, one has to remember what are significant figures and so forth. So all digits are significant except 0, which may or may not be significant. But what you want to do first is to have a value for this. You want to kind of know what this is. And when you look at the responses, you're seeing that this is some 3, 8, and maybe a 1 or a 0, right? So what you want to look at is to, if you look at the 18.96 and the 2, you're seeing that your answer must be somewhere in the 30s, which means that this cannot be an answer. This cannot be an answer, right? And so with these knowledge of what can't be the answer, I'm left to decide, is it 38? Is it 38.1? So know that my answer could either be B or C. Then I'm going to focus on, so I'm not even working out this, because when you look on the responses, so we're saying for two significant figure, this is the two significant figure. This is not two significant figures. So technically the answer is just B. I have not worked it, but based on the other answers that are there, I will not get it incorrectly because I know approximation. I know where my answer should lie. And then there are other clues that will now further tighten my response. The answer is 38 flat to two significant figures because 38.10 is not 2. It's way more than 2 significant figures. All right, question 2. All right, question 2 says 11.1 divided by 0.01. So what you want to do is to, let us say you're setting this up like what you used to. So you have 11.1 all over 0.01. One of the things that you have to remember is that when you're dividing by a decimal, you try to ensure that your denominator actually, so you want to turn your denominator into an whole number. So this part, we want to turn this into an whole number. So it simply means then I'm going to move this decimal point 2 places to the right for it to become 1, right? For it to become 1. So I have to do the same. 1, 2. So when I move it 2 places to the right, I would have 1,110 over 1, which is the same thing as just saying 1,110. So the answer is D. All right. Number 3, in scientific notation, 170.04 is written as, remember, in scientific notation, it's the figure that you're going to write it is expressed as A times 10 raised to the n, where A is a number less than 10 but greater than 1. So this can't be it. This can't be it. You understand? So A must be less than 10 but greater than 1 or equal to 1. And n is an integer. All of these are qualified for integers. However, the decimal point must come after the first digit that is not a 0, which means I have to move the decimal point from here to here. So then I'll ask myself, how many times did I move it for it to get there? 2. So the answer is 1.7004. So the decimal point would have skipped 2 places, and you say times 10. Any amount of place it skip, you put that. All right. And then when you look, there is only one answer with a 2, right? So the answer is actually B here. So you have to take your time, employ yourself, and you work. The number 3.14063 written correct to 3 decimal places is what? Now, firstly, we want to identify the digits in the various places. So which digit is actually in the third decimal place? It's the 0. So you want to highlight the fact that the 0 is occupying that spot. Something is going to happen. It's either the 0 remains or it goes up by 1. But that is going to be depending on the digit to the immediate right, which is number 6. So now we're suggesting that since the digit to the immediate right is a 6, which means it's in the category of a 5 to 9, you increase the spot by 1. So we're expecting to add 1 here. So we're looking for 3.141. And that answer is actually at B. So the answer is B. All right, taking up a step further. Question 5. We're told that we need to express 0.12 as a fraction in its lowest form. How do I represent 0.12 as a fraction? That's the question that must be asked, right? So this is how we express it. We express it as 12 divided by a decimal fraction. So it's going to be a decimal fraction where there's going to be a 1. Now, how many zeros we use will be depending on how many digits are behind the decimal point here. To the right of the decimal point, we have 2 digits, so we're going to have 2 zeros. So 12 over 100 is the same thing as 0.12. Now, if that is not there, you want to cancel down, all right? So let us say we use 4. 4 into 12, 3. 4 into 100 is 25 times. So the response I'm looking for is 3 over 25. So the answer is C. All right, so we're getting there. All right, let's take a look at number 6. Number 6 says the exact value of 37.26 divided by 1.8 all divided by 1,000 is what? All right, with a question like this, you're not necessarily going to be working on stuff, right? Because when you take a look at all of the responses, at the end of the day, when everything is worked out, you're going to get a 2, a 0, a 7. You realize it. So that means we don't need to work out this because we're going to have a 2, a 0, and a 7. What we need to focus on is if 37.26 is divided by 1.8, it is almost like dividing 40 by 2, right? So you're thinking of, on top, you would have a 20.7. How did I get it? Because all the numbers have a 207, 207, 207. So I know that whatever I do, I'll have a 207. But I know that 37.26 is near to 40 and 1.8 is near to 2. So I'm looking for 20 point something. So with that, I would know that top is 20.7, right? It could not be 2.7. It could not be 207 because of the numbers that are there. So if I divide that by 1,000, then all I have to do is to move the decimal point 3 places to the left. So you'll see that I need to add a 0 for that. So I'm looking for 0.0207. And the answer is B. So basically then, we have to be using our approximation skills. In a multiple choice exam, you're not required to do all the working. The time will run out and it's 90 seconds per question. All right. All right. Number 7. What is the value of the digit 3 in the number 2,341? If you listen to me, if this is broken down in expanded notation, it is actually 2,000 plus 300 plus 40 plus 1. So if you break it down, the 3, you could see that it's 300. So one has to just relax, represent this thing based on how you know, and you'll be able to see the value of that easily coming out. Question 8. What is the highest common factor of the set of numbers 54, 72, 90? Now, in other words, what is the biggest number down here that could go into these three? Now, if I need numbers to go into these three, then my answer cannot, right? I need numbers. Watch this now. I need numbers that can go into these. So I can't get number bigger than any number out there. So the 90 can't be a possible answer. The 1080 cannot, because we need numbers to go into 54, into 72, into 90. When you check this out, you're going to realize 18, right? 18 can go into all of those without a remainder. 9 can go into them as well, but 18 would work, right? So we have to think about what's going on. All right, so let's look at number 9. Number 9 says 25 times 130 is the same as. So you want to look at this, 25 times 130. Think about it. So you could look at the responses and see which one would. I will want to keep in mind that multiplication is repeated addition. So you want to be adding ideas that will come together. For example, 25 times 30 plus 25 times 100. So if you look at that, you definitely will see what's going on. Another thing that you could have done, this is the answer, is that if you try to factorize, let's say you factorize 25 out of this, you would have had 25 open bracket, 30 plus 100. If you factorize out that, and you would have left yourself with 25 times 130. So you're seeing that the answer is really C, right? Because if you take it, pull it apart, or if you try to factorize out the 25, you'll see that you'll get that thing from the top. The largest prime number that is less than 100. So you want to, I think this is something that you want to remember, right? So this is straight up. You got to remember this. It's 97. The largest prime number less than 100. There's no tricky for you to know this. You need to know your prime numbers. You could check, like, see if numbers could go into them. You could cancel, because you check this, you say, oh, 3 could go into this. That means it's not a prime. This is not a prime. And then probably 7 could go into this. So you could find numbers that could go into other numbers, and you can eliminate the ones that are not prime. And obviously you won't be able to find a number apart from number 1 and 97 for 97. So you could try to eliminate the composite numbers, meaning they're not prime, and you will see the prime. All right, but definitely it's not like there is a formula to work out your prime. All right. Of a class of 32 students, 17 students study music, 20 study art. What is the least number of students who are studying both music and art? So you're talking about we're having a number of students going on. So for music, all right, for music, we have 17 studying music. All right, good. For music, we have 17. For art, we have 20. Now, when we add these, we get 37. Now, this is telling me that the union is 32. So if I add my single sets and I realize it's bigger than the union, definitely you're seeing that there is some overlapping going on. So I want to take out that 32 out of the 37 to see how many was overlapping, and we're looking at 5. All right, so 5 is overlapping basically. All right, which of the following set is defined by x is less than or equal to 4 greater than or equal to -2? X is a z. This refers to integer. What are integers? Integers are negative whole numbers along with whole numbers and 0, right? So we have 0, all the whole numbers, and the negative of the whole numbers. There's no decimal, there is no fraction. 2, your integers. So when you look at this, you're coming from, when you read this, you're coming from -2 all the way to +4. So this would have been it, from -2 here all the way to +4. And you're looking at integers, whole numbers and the negative of the whole numbers. All right, let me minimize this a little bit. So question 13, all right? So question 13, I think I might need to take a, all right, just let me take up question 13. I want us to look at it right where we have it. All right, so the question is here. You could put it beside it, right? All right, so for question 13, we want to look at this set that we have here. All right. All right, so I'm kind of putting it so you could have a better look at it. All right, so it reads, it says the two circles, right, represents P and Q. So P, factors of 6, Q, factors of 4, then the shaded region. So they want to know the region where the factors of 4 are overlapping the factors of 6. So you want to list them, right? So it's not a biggie. You want to list the factors of 6. And remember, you know, factors are numbers that can go into the number without a remainder. So 6, 3, 2, 1. Factors of 6. Factors of 4, 4, 2, 1. So when you look at this, what are the numbers that are sharing for both 2 and a 1? All right, so those are the numbers that are sharing for both. So you want to look, you want to respond to the question. Easily, the answer is 1 and 2. 14, this question likes to come. They want us to know the shaded region is called what? If you notice with the shaded region, the only thing that is not shaded, any at all, is not touched. It is actually set P. And if set P is not touched any at all, it simply means then that the other area is called the complement of. And the complement is represented with a little comma thing up here. So this is the complement of P. P complement is what is shaded. So P complement is everything of that universal set except P. So P is not shaded. So we're dealing with the complement of P. All right. If the simple interest on $800 for 3 years is 54, what is the rate per annum? Number of ways you can approach your problem, right? But let us say that you remember there's a formula that a lot of people use. If I want to find the rate is simply equal to my principal. Well, hold on. Let me rub this out. All right. So the rate is going to be 100 times my interest over the principal times the time. You could simply substitute what you have. 100 times the interest. Read the question carefully. That's 54 over the principal, which is 800 times the time, which is 3 years. You want to imply some canceling. I'm saying 100 into itself 1, 100 into the 808. We could go further. We could say 3 into itself 1, 3 into 54, that's 18. And we could go further again. We could say 2 into the 8 is 4. 2 into the 18 is 9. And if you look, I'm simply left with 9 over 4. We're not seeing 9 over 4. Don't let them trick you. There is a 4 over 9. That's not the answer. So you look again, right? Don't just grab an answer. We're looking for 9 over 4. It's not there, right? So now turn this into a mixed number. How many times can the 4 go into the 9? Can goes into it 2 times and a remainder of 1 over 4. This is the percentage then. So which is this. So you could see that they would try to trick you if you're not looking and paying keen attention to the details of what you're doing. You might be picking the wrong answer. All right. So don't work out your problems nicely and then throw away the answer because you're not looking. All right. Now, number 16 says 3 and a quarter percentage of 500. There are a number of ways you can get there. You can find 3%, you can find 3 and a quarter%. All right. You can do this if you want, right? You can look at 3 and a quarter, as in, remember, quarter is 0.25. So this is 3.25 over 100, right? So 3.25, I think my pen is, okay. 3.25 over 100. And you can multiply this by 500. You can do that, all right? So you could put 500 over 1 if you want. So this would cancel, leaving 5 at the top. So you could find your answer by simply multiplying 3.25 times 5, right? That's kind of one of the straightforward ways that you could work this out, all right? So you could really just take your time and you will get this out very easily. So you're talking about that 5 to 16, carry the 1, 16. All right, so I'm getting 16.25 here, which is here. And as you could see, it's about just setting up. They will give you numbers that they know that you can easily work with. They're not going to push it, right? They're not going to push it beyond the regular skills, right? So you could work that one out very easily. There's another way that you could really break this, but I mean, it's fine. You understand? That's not necessary. But you could just easily walk through it like that. All right, let's look at 17. So question 17, question 17 is saying that Mary invested $200 for 3 years at 5%, all right, per annum. John invested 300 at the same rate, all right? So he's gonna go at 5%, just the same. So they want to know if both of them will receive the same amount of interest. How many years will it take John? So we want to know. So what we could do is to set up a system where we're saying Mary's interest on the left. So Mary's interest, how do you find interest? Interest is found by using this formula. P times R, P times R times T. Just writing an idea, P times R times the T all over 100. And this gives you simple interest. But this is for Mary. So this is Mary's things I'm using there, right? And so we want to put John's beside it. John had the same 300 at the same rate, which is 5. The time for John, we don't know. And that's what we want to find. Now, there are certain things that will cancel. So I'm just showing you an easy way to go. So this will cancel, leaving the 2 up the top. This will cancel, leaving the 3 at the top. So on the left side, you're looking at 5 2's 10. You're looking at 30. 5 2's 10 times 3. So 30. On my right side, I have 5 times t. All right? 30, 3 5's 50, right? So on the left side, I have 30. On the right side, I have my 15t. What could t be? so that it multiply by 15 to give 30? Well, it's up to you. You could divide both sides by your 15, or you could mentally decide that, oh, it is 2. So the answer is 2 by just setting up a simple thing and work. Not suggesting that this is the only way, but this is kind of a very straightforward, systematic way that you are applying what is simple interest, your principal times your rate times your time all over 100. So if I could equate the two interests, since it is the same, that means they're equal, I'm able to find the time that it would have happened. All right, so that's an approach that we can use. All right, number 18. 18 says a television set costs $350 cash. When bought on hire purchase, the deposit of $35 is required, followed by 12 monthly payment of $30. How much is saved on paid cash? Well, if I'm going to know how much is saved on paid cash, I'm going to need to know what's my hire purchase. My hire purchase by definition, all right, so I'm just going to write HP for hire purchase. By definition, my hire purchase is my deposit. And I'm going to add that to my amount payable, right? So amount payable is the amount that you would have gone back to pay. So let us set up what the deposit was. The deposit was $35. The amount payable was 12 months of paying $30. So it's going to be the 12 times 30, right? So if we break this down, 35 plus 360, right? So the 35 plus 360 is giving me 395. Now, the question is saying the difference, how much is saved if I pay cash? So now I'm going to say, if I bought it for cash, I'll pay $350. So now I want to take my $350 out of that hire purchase, and I'm looking at $45. So I would have saved $45 if I had bought it cash. So you work your thing out and you go. But if you don't understand hire purchase, you won't be able to get this. And this is what these questions are. These questions are so designed to test your knowledge on the same topics for paper 2. Only that this is just a single answer. How much does a customer pay for an article marked at $50 if a sales tax of 6% is charged? Now, there are two approaches that I would give here, right? I could say to you, this is a multiple choice test, which means that there are certain fundamental principles that are laid down in order to work without a calculator. And I would say appreciate what 10% is. Factors of 10% like 5, 2.5, and so on. Multiples of 10% like 20, 30, stuff like that. And a combined factors and multiples like 15, 35, 25. It's still coming from 10. Now, 10% simply means that you drop a zero off from the back. So you kind of have ideas. For example, $50. There's going to be a 10% tax. I'm just saying, I know they're talking 6, but I'm leading you to a path. 10% would have meant that $5 would be added, because 10% of 50 is $5, which means that the money that I'm going to think of now cannot be bigger than 55. I am saying it cannot be bigger than 55. And that is how we want to understand how the process of elimination with some little other concepts that we know. So definitely the answer cannot be 56, because 10% is 55, and I don't even want 10%. I need 6, so I know it's nowhere near 55. Another thing you know is that if tax is added, your answer cannot be less than the amount you're going to pay for the thing. So 44 is out, 47 is out. And without working, the answer is 53. So it's not like I really need to find 6% and add it to it. You can do that if you want to. But I'm just saying, when you look at the question, if you know 10% is just to drop off a zero at the back, 10% is $5. So here it is, I have a marker. anything 55 or over is wrong because I'm going 6% and 10% is 55. Another thing that you want to think of is there is no way you're going to pay tax and pay less than what the thing costs. And with that process of elimination, definitely we pick 53 for our answer and we're good. Very, very good to go. Next question. If $7,000 is borrowed at a rate of 5% per annum for 3 years, the simple interest is what? Well, let's just work it out. There are a number of ways you could work it out. I'm still giving this simple interest formula a shot. All right, so simple interest is equal to the principal times the rate times the time, all over 100. The principal, 7,000. Principal is the money invested, the money borrowed, times the rate, times the time, all over 100. And they're giving you nice numbers to work with, you could see. So the 100 cancels into the 7,070. We're multiplying 70 times 5 times 3, up to you. 70 times 5. That is $350. 350 times 3, that is 1,050. And here is our answer. I'm saying very simple working forward, right? Very, very, very simple working. I could show you another way, but I mean, it's not necessary because this one is so straightforward. Probably don't need a second opinion in terms of method, because you could use your I might just do. If I have 7,000, 10% is just to drop a 0 off. So 10% is 700. So 5% is a half of that. Oh, so I'll divide this by 2 and I'll definitely get 350 for 5%. This is for 1 year. Then I could go for 3 years and I'll get the same answer. It's up to you how you want to go. So you could see the flow of ideas, the same things coming back because it's built on the same concept. All right, 21. Number 21 says, if the sale on an article resulted in the loss of 20% on the cost, then the cost price as a percentage of the selling price is what? All right? So let's take a look at what they're saying. Listen to what they're saying. They're saying that if the sale of an article resulted in a loss, so this is a loss of 20%, which means you're selling the thing for 80%, all right? 80. Now, here's what they're saying. Then the cost price, right, as a percentage of the selling price is what? So you're looking at a loss. So normally you work out your loss and you work your thing out. So for this, you're seeing that the cost price is way less than the selling price now. All right, and they want you to write the cost price as a percentage of the selling. It cannot be over 100. What I'm saying is, what I want you to understand is, all right, what I'm trying to say is this, that here's the deal. The cost price is going to be less based on what they're saying, because the selling price, my bad, think I'm saying the wrong thing, not cost price, right? The selling price is less, my bad. The selling price is less, right? Because it was a loss. So you sold it for 20% less. All right, so that's what you did. You sold it for 20% less. So this is the smaller, all right? So my bad, my error. So they're saying, no, represent the cost price. So the cost price would be a bigger figure, all right, on top of that. So you're talking that, so the smaller ones can't work because the selling price is smaller. And so the smaller one is at the bottom. I'm just saying the smaller of the two is at the bottom, all right, because you sold it for less, all right, and the cost price is actually bigger. So the cost price is on top. So when you think about this now, you're saying that, okay, if they're asking you to represent it this way, right, then you're actually looking at something more, all right? So you're talking about 120 over 100, all right? So this is like 120%. It can't be less though than 100. Why? Because the bigger number, based on how they want you to represent it, is them said that, listen, then the cost price as a percentage of the selling. So the selling will go at the bottom, and the selling was way less, 20% less. All right. So what we're looking at there is to make sure that we kind of set it up the right way. Set it up the right way. Let me work it out. All right. Let me work out this. 100, and let me put this. This was cost. Let me put it beside it for you. And then the selling goes at the bottom, and it was sold for 80% of its value, right? This is 1.25, I think, which is 125. So this is the idea. Good. So we are saying that the cost price is always 100. Look at it like that. You sold it for 20% less. In other words, you sell anybody you sold it for, it went for 80%. I am suggesting now, say, based on how they want you to represent, you have 100 over 80. And if you cancel on this, like if you break this down, or let us say you break this down with whatever, you cancel down this with zeros, and then you probably use 4, 2 into this, 4, 2 into this, 5. So we're getting 1 and a quarter, which is 1.25. So the correct answer is 125. All right. So there is the working out for it right there. So I guess we have to read the question carefully. Just read it carefully and don't just set it up the way we wanna, because I guess in this one they're suggesting that, hey, we want you to set it up this way. So they said put the cost over the selling. So you would have understand the percentage worth. The percentage worth for the cost price was already 100. The selling price was 20% less. And then you break it down and then you pick your answer. All right. So definitely we have to read the questions so we don't make any errors, because it's very easy to make the error. So you have to read thoroughly, take your time. And that goes for me as well. All right. So we say next question. A salesman sells a car for 11,000, right? If he's paid a commission of 4.5% on the first 10,000. So you're gonna have to pay attention to this detail here. So that goes with 10,000. And then they're sending 7.5, right? For the remainder. All right, good. So then let's look at this. So 10,000 will go at 4.5%. Work it out, because they're using some numbers that are good. 4.5% means 4.5 over 100. And you're going for 10,000 with this. The numbers can cancel easily. Look, 100 into this is 100 times. So 4.5 times 100 will give you what? 450. All right, so it's going to get 450 from the first 10,000. Check it out. 1,000 is left. So the 1,000 will now go for how much? It says it's going to go for 7.5%. So 7.5% of 1,000. You set it up. 100 into 1,000, 10 times. 10 times 7.5 give you 75. And we're going to be adding these two ideas together to see what we get. And this looks like 525. So we're looking for 525, and the answer is right here. All right, so you have to just take a time and work these two. For a lot of them, there isn't any short way, really, some of them. You just have to just work it through, then just take your time and work it through. You'll be fine. 23. 23 says a loan of 8,000 was paid back in 2 years with monthly payment of 400. The percentage profit of the loan is what? All right, so before you find that percentage profit, you're gonna need to know, I mean, how much money was paid back, right? So we know we borrow 8,000, but we pay back 2 years monthly. 2 years monthly is how many months? Well, 2 years, and it's 12 months in a year. So we're talking about 24 months. We actually paid $400, right? $400. You pay that 24 times. So you pay that 24 times, right? So you want to make sure that you definitely understand that, hey, $400, I paid that 24 times, you're going to get about 9,600. Now, take away how much you actually borrowed. Remember the loan. This was the loan. So then this 1,600 was some interest the bank would have made on. Now, they want to calculate the percentage profit. You can do it more than one way. One of the simple ways is to put that profit, that extra, over what you paid and turn it into percentage. All right. So you could see those 2 zeros cancel, this one cancel, and this I'm getting 20. So that means this is saying that, hey, it was a 20%. All right. Another way you could have looked at is look at it like this. If I have $8,000, they made 1,600 off me. Based on the fact that it's a multiple choice paper, check this out. 10% is to drop a zero off. So 10% is 800, which means 20% is 1,600. So you could see how easily you could find it by looking, by reasoning, and applying the 10% principle. It's up to you. Next question, let's go up. All right. All right. So it says, so for this, you're working on this. So you want to distribute quickly. All right. So 5 times x gives us 5x, and 5 times y gives us 5y. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times negative y is positive 3y. 5x minus 3x, that's going to give you 2x. 5y plus 3y is actually 8y. So it is 2x plus 8y. That's the answer right there. Right? All right, good. All right. All right, at this moment, I'll just say to us, those of us that are on, just a quick reminder for those of us, we have about 5 or 6 days to get ourselves registered. If you wanna register in time to get the papers, to get them printed, you do that by June 11th. But remember, the marathon is June 11th. If you want to register to get the papers before, sort out yourself by June 7th. I will be sending out the papers that we're going to be using on the 7th. All right. Next week, Sunday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We are not going to be on YouTube. We're going to be in a Zoom class somewhere, live, Zoom, doing a number of papers, along with closing the day with a test and immediate feedback from a real test. I won't tell you which year paper, or it's going to be a mixed paper anyway. So get yourself registered for the marathon. It's going to be an all-day event, 2 days before the exam, with enough time for you to clarify and sort out anything that you don't understand. All right. So pay attention to the details there on the slides. All right, let's go to this. It says if R asterisk S is, I think this is S raised to the R. All right, so if R asterisk S is S raised to the R, then 3 asterisk 2. So what you want to do is to make those. So they have R asterisk S. R asterisk S is S, right? It's S to the R, which means if they give me 3 asterisk 2, you want to look at how the things are to link R being the first one, like 3, and you want to link S being the second one, like 2. So I'm suggesting that the R is 3 and the S is 2 based on the order in which they came. So it means then, since S is raised to the R, it's going to be 2 raised to the 3. And then if you don't know what that is, it means 2 times 2 times 2, and the answer is 8. So the answer is A. If M asterisk N is the root of Mn minus N squared, again, M asterisk N. So you're seeing where the M is 5 because it came first, and the N is 3 because it came after, right? So then the root of Mn, so it's going to be 5 times 3 minus 3 squared. So it's 15 minus 9 square root. 15 minus 9 is 6. So we're looking for the square root of 6. The answer is A. All right, so we take our time and you work. The answer will be there. All right, let's quickly break this to see what we have. What you want to do is to try to apply yourself to it. So depending on how you want to do this, it depends. So you could use 4 to multiply by the 3, then 4 multiplied by the 2, then the negative x multiplied by the 3, then the negative x multiplied by the 2x. You could take it like that. So first one, 4 times 3, that's 12, right? So 4 times 3, that's 12. And then 4 times 2x, that's going to give you 8x. Then x times 3 is minus 3x. And then negative x times 2 is minus 2x squared. So it's going to be a 12. It's going to be a positive 5 with an x and a minus 2x squared. You're looking for that. All right, so the answer is D. So a lot of times you just want to work the math, take a look, and try not to make any error, and you'll be fine. (28). So for 28, you're solving this. So based on what we have, so we have a 2x plus 3, and this is greater than or equal to 9. You're solving, and it is solved ordinarily, so we'll take 3 from both sides. So we have 2x greater than or equal to 6. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. x is greater than or equal to 3. So nothing fussy, nothing big. The answer is x is greater than or equal to 3. If x is equal to -2, y is equal to 3, and t is equal to 2, then x over y raised to the t, substitute x over y. So x is -2, so we have -2 there, divided by y, y is 3, and this must be all raised to t, and t is 2. So we're squaring -2/3. Simply put, -2/3 times -2/3. So you wanna just take your time, go through. Negative times negative is positive, so the answer is positive 4/9. You're looking for that, and try not to let the answers trick you, because you see they have 9/4 and stuff like that. Be careful. All right, so we're at number 30. So number 30 says m is equal to 1/2, n is equal to 1/4. So m squared plus n squared. So m is 1/2, so we're talking 1/2 square. You're adding that to negative, hold on. All right, -1/4 square. All right, when you square 1/2, 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 gives me 4. So when you square 1/2, you get 1/4. When you square -1/4, you're gonna get 1/16. All right, -1 times -1 is 1, 4 times 4 is 16. All right, so let's draw the line. 16. So 4 into 16, 4, 4 ones give me 4. 16 into itself, 1. 1 times 1, 1. We're adding, so we're looking at 5/16. So we're getting 5/16 right there. 31. All right, so 31 says here, the value of x and y, which satisfies the equation x plus y equal 27, 2x minus y is equal to that. So let's write them up. These are is a simultaneous thing. You could try the numbers though and see what you get, as well as you could just solve for one of the variable and then see what you get. So let us say I have x plus 2y, and this is equal to 27. X plus 2y equal to 27. Not so sure what's going on with my board. And then I have a 2x minus y equal 19. All right, you can solve it simultaneously. All right, so I'm going to multiply, it's going to multiply the top one by 2. And I'm just doing that so that I could get the x to turn into a 2x, right? So 2 times x give me 2x. 2 times 2 give me 4. And 2 times 27 give me 54. So then, if we zoom in on these, if we zoom in on those, I can simply subtract. So if I subtract these two equations here, this 2x and 2x will go, right? So if I say this subtract that, if I have negative y, subtract 4y, that's going to give me a 5, 19, subtract 54. So you want to set it up and be in a consistent order. So I'm going to find the value for y. So negative 5y 19 minus the 54. That's going to give me about 35. Let me write it here. Negative 5y is equal to negative 35. And if I divide this by negative 5, it is telling me that y must be 7. So I'm seeing that y must be 7 here. So if y must be 7, this is the only response that has y as 7. So 13 and x. All right, 13 and 7. So y is 7. Because I picked this one because that's what I have. If you're not sure, you want to check it back, you could just check the 7 if you want to do that. So you'd have x plus 2 times 7 minus 27. You could work it out, do a quick check. So x plus 14 equal to 27. So ask yourself the question. You could just ask, what plus 14 give me 27? It's 13. So you could say that x is 13 and the y is 7. So that's the answer, all right? So you could do that. Sometimes you could check them and see as well as you could work out one and then just pick the answer. And you don't need to verify the other. You don't need to double check, meaning to verify if the other one is okay. You pick one and the moment you get it, you're good. All right. A rectangular picture frame has the border. Hold on. A rectangular, change this. All right, let's go. A rectangular picture frame has a border area, okay, of 32 cm square, given that the external dimension of the are 10 and 8 cm. All right. What is the most likely dimension of the frame? All right, what is the all right, so we're talking about a rectangular picture frame. All right, so the rectangular picture frame, given that the dimension are 10 cm, external 10, 8. All right, so 10 and so I put the external 10 and 8. What are the most likely dimension of the picture? The picture they're talking here. All right, so we are saying that the picture can't be bigger than the frame. So we're going to take out this. And most likely, would you say the picture is as big as everything? Picture is normally a little bit smaller. So you're left to pick between these two, right? So now, if you look carefully, we're saying that this is an 8 by 6. 8 6 is 48. Understand? 8 6 48, and this is 32. This is 48. All right, these two that we picked before are way out, right? The pictures will be too big. So what's the focus? What are the most likely dimension of the picture? All right. So take a look at this. This is the border area. All right. Now I'm gonna pick this one because I'm gonna say the picture is gonna be a little bit bigger because I have enough space here to facilitate. So it's like the picture, let us say that so this is like, so I'm putting this as my 8 by, I'm just making this like this might be my picture. This is the space that the picture would come. So if this is 8 by 4, all right, and the picture is 32, the picture won't, it's going to follow. It's like you need to have the picture a little bit bigger than the hole for it to set good. So I want it to be a little bit bigger than this so that it would hold firmly behind it, because if it is the same area, it might just pluck right through it. So I'm saying I want it to be a little bigger. So I would want to see the picture coming, a little bit outside of that, behind it. Because you notice sometimes when you're putting up the picture, some of the picture might come out because it's a little bit bigger than the hole. That's what we mean. So I wouldn't pick this. because it is the same 32 that I'll get for that. So I want the picture a little bit bigger. All right. So I'll pick this one, A. All right. The diagram below shows a cylinder with a diameter 6 cm and the height 20. All right. So the diameter here is 6 and this is 20. So the question says the volume. So the volume of a cylinder is pi r square h. R though was giving under this guise 6 divided by 2, r is 3. So your r is 3, right? So then let's look at what the responses are. So pi is a part of it. So that means you don't need to work this out. You need to set it up and see what we get. So pi times r, which is 3 square, times 20, pi. So I have pi times 9 times 20. So this is pi times 180, which is going to be 180 pi. And I'm seeing A. So 180 pi. All right. The distance around the edge of a circular pond is 88. The radius in meters is what? Circumference is actually equal to 2 pi r. Circumference is 88. So 88 is equal to 2 pi r. And the radius is what I want. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2 pi. So you're doing regular math. So 88 over 2 pi would be the answer. All right, based on what we got here. All right, 2,500 millimeter expressed in meters. Remember that it's 1,000. It's 1,000 milliliter. That gives 1 liter. So all you're gonna do is to divide by 1,000. So that 2,005, you're gonna divide this by 1,000. All right, and you're gonna get 1, 2, 3. So it's gonna be 2.5. All right, so it's 1,000 millimeter that gives you 1 liter. So because of that, you're able to do that. All right, let's see what they want here. Area of this trapezium. The area of the trapezium is found by using half the sum of the parallel sides. So the area is gonna half the sum of the parallel side. The parallel sides are as follows: 12 plus 8. It's half of that by 3. 12 and 8 is 20. 20 divided by 2 is 10. 10 times 3 would give you 30. All right. So 10 times 3 is 30. So the answer is C. So it's half the sum of the parallel sides, and you multiply that by the height. $37. A motorist travels 60 kilometers in 1 hour and a further 90 in 2 hours. Average speed in kilometer per hour for the entire journey. Average speed is total distance over total time. All right, so we're talking about total distance. Let me put D for distance over total time. So what's the total distance? 60 and 90, 150. 3 hours. All right, so the total kilometers that was traveled was 150. 3 hours. So divide 3 into itself 1, 3 into 150, 50. So the average speed in kilometer per hour would have been 50 kilometers for every hour on average. All right, so for this question now, we're looking at two concentric circles, and they want us now, they said the diagram shows two concentric circles with center O, with R, small r, and big R. The area in centimeter of the shaded region. So they want us to find the shaded region. Shaded region is to find the area, big circle with big R minus small circle, small r. So it's going to be pi, area of the circles, pi r, big R square. And that's going to give me the area of a big circle. Take away pi, small r square. That's the idea, right? So if I see that, I'm good. All right. So if I find the big circle minus the small circle, I'm good. And I'm seeing it right here. And I'm good. All right, let's go. 39. 39 says here, the area of the triangle is 30, same square, and the base is 10. What is the height? Remember, you know, the idea says that area of the triangle is actually base times height over 2, right? Or if you want to say half base times height, right? That's what will give you the area of the triangle. So now they gave us the area. They said, listen, the area is 30. So you could say 30 is equal to what? 30 is equal to base, which is 10, times h. We don't have h, so you could just put h over 2. That's what we have right there. All right, so you divide this, you get 5. So if you divide both sides by 5, or what times 5 give you? 36. All right, so the answer is 6 right there. Number 40. Tom leaves town P to drive to town Q, which is 595 kilometers away, 6 hours, and arrive at Q 13 hours. The average speed, total distance over total time. Total time is to take the 6 from the 13. The difference between that is 7 hours. So we're talking about 5, 9, 5. So that is the distance traveled in the 7 hours. So you're dividing. They're giving you this 7, 49, 8. So 7, 8, 56. So this is going to give you 8, right? With a 3 and 7 into 35, 5. So you're looking for 85. So this is a straight forward working out of your ideas. You make sure that your timetable is on. You're not making any error. All right. So it's 595 divided by 7. How did you get 7? Take the 6 from the 13 and you get the difference, the time. All right. Question 41. Which two stations have more than 1,500 listeners during the week? All right. Which two stations together? They're saying together. So you're going to add 2. So which 2 would give you that? And this is, take a look. This is in 100. So everything on this axis is 100. All right. You're talking about putting 2 of them together. So this is 7, 6, 6, and I think this is 9 here. Let's say 9 right here. All right. So, all right. So the 9 and the 7, that's actually, so the 9 and the 7, so B and D, if you add those together, B and D being added together, you're gonna get 1,600, which is more than 1 plus 5. So the answer is B and D. We're looking for B, D for that one. All right, because I said which one of them would have had more. So the key thing in this though is to go across with the top of the column to see where it is, so you can know what you're doing. Next question says, which station had as many listeners during the week as the mean number of listeners for the 4 stations? So in other words, I want to know. All right, so which one, look at what they said again. Which station had as many listeners during the week as the mean number of listeners for the 4? So I need to find out what is the mean here. So I'm going to add these up. All right, so you have these to add up and divide by 4. You have a 9 plus 7. All right, so we have a 9 and a 7. We got 2 6s, right? A and C is 6. So we have 6 plus 6. All right, so we want to add that up, and we're going to divide that by 4. Right, so you want to check that up quickly. 6 and 6, 12. That's look like 28. 9 plus 7 plus 6 plus 6. Yeah, that's about 28 over 4. So 28 over 4 is 7. So which one of them would have a list of 7? B. So the answer is B right there. When you read what they want, which one their listeners is like the average of everybody? B. (43). The median of the 8 scores represented above. All right, in order to find the median, what we're going to have to do is to put them in ascending order. So 1, then there are 2 4s. I'm going to cross them off as we go. All right, so 1 4 4. There is a 7, and there are 2 8s. Then there's a 10. Then there's a 15. All right, so we have a 10, 15. All right, so the median, so how many have? 2, 4, 6, 8. So the median will be caught right here. The median, as you can see, is these two, middle term. All right, so you're gonna have to add them and divide by 2. So we wanna add these, yeah, divide by 2. So it's gonna be 15 over 2, and 15 over 2 is 7.5. We're looking for 7.5. Here it is. All right, so for this one, the question says here, the picture chart shows the popular games played at a school of 720 students. How many played cricket? All right, so they gave you a percentage. So what's the missing percentage here? We want to add up these percentage, take it from 100. So 30 and 10, 40. When we add what we have there, we get 65. So if we take this from 100, we have 35 for cricket. All right, so if the question wants to know how many play cricket, it's 35% for cricket. So all I'm going to do is just define 35%. All right. 35% of 720. And we work that out and we're good. All right, good. So you can just simply, you have to break these down though by yourself. All right, you have to break these down whichever way you can, cancel little by little. You know, 5 into this 2, 5 into that 7. Break it down, it can work. 2 into that 1, and 2 into this 36. All right, so we're going 36 times 7, and you look for your answer. 36 times 7, 42. All right, it looks like 252. Take your time, you work, break it down, and the answer will be there, right? So your skills, multiplication skills and division skills are definitely needed as you go. The height in centimeters of 10 students are 150, 152, 155, 153, 170, 160, 156, 165, 158, 155. The range is the highest score minus the smallest. So the highest is 170. Watch my smallest, 150, 153, 150. All right, so that's my smallest. So it's going to be 170. And I want to take from that 150, and my answer is 20. So here it is, 20. That's the range. 46. Which of the following represents the equation of a straight line? Y is equal to mx plus c. The fact that I see a square, it's incorrect. A square, that's incorrect. This is actually having the variable in the denominator. That's not a straight line, right? Straight line is y equal to mx plus c. All right, so all of these are incorrect. The answer is A. All right, let's see what this one is saying here. All right, the straight line, what cuts the y-axis? All right, they want to know it cuts the y-axis at what? So you want to read that point. It's every y-intercept is a 0 with whatever value you get. So it's a 0 with a -2. So we're looking at that one, a 0 with a -2. And that answer is D. All right, so that answer is D. All right, so let's see what this other question is saying here. What it says, from the graph, the values of x when y equal 1, -1 are, okay. So we want to know what is x when y equal -1. So we're gonna go where y equal -1. All right, so -1 is right here. So you want to read off right here, and right here. So you want to read off the x value for this and the x value for that. As you could see, it's going by 0.2. So this is -0.1, -0.1, -0. So we are -1.2, 1.4, 1.6, -1.8. So I'm seeing a -1.8 based on the scale that we have. And then we have a -1.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8. So I have a -1.8 and a +1.8. Oh, wait. It's not 1. I think it was -1 was said, right? Hold on. I think I'm thinking 1. Let me go back and look if it was 1 or -1. I'm using 1, but I think, let me go back to the question. I think it is -1, it said, right? -1. All right, hold on. -1, not 1. -1, let me circle. -1. All right, so let's go where -1 is. Hold on. -1 on the y-axis. So we're focusing on that number. So this is the line that passes through it. So we touch the curve here. That's one of my answer. All right, sorry about that. I was looking at +1, but the question said -1, okay? There. So let's take this up. So 1 touches it there. So that is -2.2. So that's -2.2. And this one touch it right here. Because when you get this value, you take it up, 2.2, take it up. You see those values out there. So 2.2, -2.2. So that's -2.2, and the other one is 2.2. All right, so just look carefully. All right, look carefully. All right, 2.2 and -2. Yeah, the answer is B here. Good. All right, so we have to take a good look at the instructions so we don't error. All right, we are getting there. All right, so let's see what they want us to do with this question. They're asking the maximum point. So they want to know what's the maximum point here. The maximum point would be right here, where it turned back. And we want to read off the coordinate. This is 2, 4. All right, so we're looking for 2, 4. So I just want to see if you're reading your coordinates right. 2, 4 is there. C. All right, 2, 4 is C. All right, let's keep going. 50. The value of x for which y equal to 4x squared minus that. Intercepts y equals 0 is r. All right. So what they're saying is, read this. It says the value of x for which y equal to 4x minus x squared intercept y equal. So they're kind of making it feel weird. This is x-axis. In other words, you want to solve it. See this y here? This is this here. That's what they're saying. So you want to solve for x. Wow. My pen is moving lazy. 4x minus x squared equals 0. And you're solving it normal, right? So you factorize out the x. So you get 4 minus x equals 0. So it's either x is a 0 or 4 minus x is a 0. So it's going to either be x is a 0, that's one of the response, or 4 minus x is a 0. So if I take this on the other side, so 4 is equal to x. So x equals 0, x equals 4. All right, let's take a look at this one. Let me minimize this. So we're having this curve, and it is saying that, hey, if a, b, and c are constants and a is greater than 0, the equation of the graph could be what? A is greater than 0. The moment they're telling that a is greater than 0, they're telling that a is positive. And if a is positive, then this is out, right? B and C cannot be the answer because those of A is negative. So they're telling A greater than 0, A is positive. Now, this one is also out because when you have this is like the mother function here. It is, the mother function is always on the y-axis. And whenever it's shaped like this, it is on the y-axis. Whenever it moves off, and when I said on the y-axis, this is what I mean. The function is on the y-axis. So it will be moving up and down on the y-axis. When it steps to the right or to the left of the y-axis is when you start to have dx. The moment you have dx, it starts to step to the right and to the left. As you could see, this graph up here is not on the y-axis. It's stepped off the y-axis. So the answer is D. All right, so angle, so we look at AC and DE are straight lines. All right, so we have that, we're looking at that. Let's see what else. What do they want? The measure of angle ABE, mark the angle from A to B to E, they want that. So we have a straight line, so we're just gonna say 180, take out the 58, and you're gonna get 122. That's 122 for that angle. This angle is 1, 2, 2. Right. All right, so D is the answer for that. Next question. In the figure above, so we want to look at that. OPQ is mapped onto OP prime Q prime. What type of transformation? When the moment I look at it, it's not an enlargement, it's not a translation, it's not a reflection. All right, so I'm seeing where this is a rotation. You could see it rotating and the center is actually right. This is where the center is. It's a rotation. All right, it's a rotation. So you could look what it is, look what's happening. With an enlargement, it gets bigger. With a translation, there's no turning. And with a reflection, things are laterally inverted. We did not see that. All right, let's look at 54. A ship sailed 8, all right, due east. All right, so take a look at this. We're saying that the ship sailed 8 due east from A. So I want to have A somewhere here, and I have to go east 8, all right, and when you go there to B, it then sailed 6 north. I'm gonna go up 6 to C. So I'm looking for something like that. I'm looking for something where I would have gone to the right and then go up. So look for the answer. Look for which one match with that. C. This is it. All right, A, 6. A, B, C. A to B to C. All right, so the answer is that. So you have to just look out for those. This one. All right, so we're told that it's a translation, right? So you're told that that figure there is a translation. So they want to know what is that translation. So if you want to know, all you have to do is to pick on, you have to just pick on corresponding points. So I'm not going to do all, I'm going to pick on point A and A prime. The guiding principle for the translation is that if I have an object plus the translation, it gives the image. That's the idea. So then my object is A, which is 2, 5. That was added to some translation that we don't know yet. X at the top, Y at the bottom. And it turned it into 4, 6. Now, if I want to find this translation, I'm going to subtract. Or you want to say you bring this across, change the sign, anything. You subtract this. So X, Y is equal to 4, 6. Minus 2, 5. So in other words, set up the principal transpose. All right, so 4 minus 2 is 2. 6 minus 5 is 1. The translation is 2, 1. Right? So I'm looking for a translation with 2 at the top, 1 at the bottom. The answer is A. Coming down. All right, what do they want? All right, so we're looking at AB is parallel to AC. The measure of angle BDE is what? BDE. BDE. Mark it here. I'm seeing co-interior. All right, so therefore, with co-interior angles, it's between 2 parallel lines and they're on the same side of the transversal. This line is the transversal right there. So to find it, co-interior angles add to give 180. So if you know 1 and you take it from 180, you will definitely get the other one. The answer is 140, as you can see. So if you don't want to work it like that, you could have used your Z angle to put 40 here. And then you'll have a straight angle and you'll still do this. 180 minus 40 still give you the 140. So whichever route we take, We're looking for 140, and its the answer is C. All right. Now, in the right angle triangle above, not drawn to scale, the angle Q is 90, PQ 50, PR 130. They want us to find X. All right. They wanted to find X right here. So PR is X. All right. So the question says they don't want it to find X. They're saying tan PRQ. So tan of this angle. That's what they want, right? Tan of that angle is what? All right, so the tan of that angle is what? Right here. What is tan? You're talking about tan, you're gonna have to go back to the hold on, guys. My board is okay. Back. So tan, so using this, so ka tower. Tangent, as you could see, is opposite side over the adjacent. Opposite to the angle is 50. This is opposite. Adjacent to this angle is next door. It's X. So it's going to be 50 over X. That is tangent of that angle. So we're looking for that. The answer is which of the following best describe the properties of an equilateral triangle? For an equilateral triangle, all sides are equal. We know this is true. All angles are equal. We know this is true. Only two, no. Only two, no. So all the sides, all the angles are equal. So we'll take 1 and 2 for the answer. 59. All right, so let us look to see what's going on at 59. So in the diagram that John to scale shows angle of depression, see the 30-degree up there, and we have some measurements. So the question is saying that the height of YZ, so we're talking about finding YZ here, this. If you want to find YZ, what do you do? Well, this angle up here is automatically this angle down here. So we're talking about using the opposite again with the adjacent tangent. So I'll say the tangent of 30 is equal to YZ over 10. So if I multiply both sides by 10, 10 tan 30 is YZ. All right, so I'm looking for 10 tan 30. It's at the top. Last one. So we have this, and let's see what they want. What are the coordinates of the image of A under reflection in the y-axis? All right, so we want to reflect this in the y-axis, so that's what they want. If you're going to reflect this in the y-axis, you count 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is 4 units in front, it's going to fall 4 behind. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to come right here. Coordinate here is -4, 3. All right, so that's the -4, 3 right there for that coordinate. So you go when you look, because remember when you reflect in the y-axis, you count to the y-axis, and like you're to the right, you count to it, then you count the same distance to the left. So -4, 3 would have been the coordinate And the answer is D. All right, that's the last one for the day. Just a reminder, guys, just reminding us one more time, get yourself registered for the marathon that we're doing. It's kind of, as I said to you, it's going to be kind of a last big long class 2 days before the exam, going through as many questions as possible, followed by an online test that you click and you'll get the submission of your response along with the corrections and stuff like that. So WhatsApp this number for details. See you guys, and thank you for coming out. Tomorrow again, we'll meet. Take care. Bye-bye.